Alright, today I want to talk about vehicle body types or styles. I know most of us, we don't know the difference between a sedan and a saloon, or the difference between a station wagon and an estate, or the difference between a CUV or an SUV. So let's talk about these body styles and know how to differentiate, distinguish, identify these body types. First, we will talk about a saloon. A saloon is also called a sedan, and you can see very well here. At the front, you have the bonnet, you have the cabin, and you have the boot. And that will be basically how a saloon will look like. So what are the features that identify a sedan? So we know that a saloon is usually referred to as a sedan in Europe. And in the USA, they just call it a saloon. Here in Africa or in Kenya, we call it a saloon. So it's a passenger car with a 3-box configuration of separate engine and passenger and luggage compartments. It has an enclosed passenger compartment where a front row and a rear row of seats are found. There's no partition between the driver and the rear row of seats. A separate luggage area is located in front or rear of the car depending on where the engine is situated. Usually, it has 2 doors on each side. Sometimes, though rarely, you can have 1 door on each side. And when you have 1 door on each side, it means that the front passenger seat, can be collapsible so that we have access to the rear row of seats. So that's how basically a saloon car will look like. And of course the shapes will be different depending on the manufacturer. Some old models of saloon will look like that. And new models will look like this one, right? And some others, of course, they will vary depending on the manufacturer's design. That one is a Toyota Corolla. Look at, you can see clearly that it has a 3-box configuration where you have the bonnet, the passenger compartment, and the boot compartment. Note that in the passenger compartment, the front row where we locate the driver and the passenger, 1 or 2 passenger seats, and the rear row of seats, they are not separated, right? It's just 1 room, 1 box. That's an Audi. This is an Audi model. It's a it's a Volkswagen Beetle. And, well, it's a nice vehicle. It was made in Germany during the Hitler time, right? It's a nice vehicle. This is Skoda. It's an old model of a saloon. And we have a Peugeot 504. Very nice vehicles. Some of them, my favorite, are the vintage vehicles. And this is a Skoda favorite. Yeah. So next one, we talk about a hatchback. So in a hatchback, as you'll note, we don't have a boot. Okay. So we have replaced the whole boot area or the whole boot compartment with a hatch door that swings upward or opens upward. It might have just 1 door on each side, but sometimes two doors, as normally has two rows of seats, the front driver and passenger seat and the rear row of seats. And then of course you still have the bonnet. Right. What are the identifiers of hatchback? Well, a hatchback will have the door a hatch door that replaces the luggage space or the boot. It is a passenger car with a two-box configurations of separate engine and passenger compartment. No luggage compartment as noted. So you just have a two-box configuration. It has an enclosed passenger compartment where the front and rear row of seats are found. There's no partition between the driver and the rear row of seats. And usually, you'll have two doors on each side, and sometimes, though rarely, you can have a door on each side. So this one has two doors on each side, but you can note clearly here, the hatchback has no boot area. You just replace it with a hatch door, and that's why we call it a hatchback, because the back is a hatch door. That's why we call it a hatchback. So you can see clearly this the only difference here is that the hatchback is actually a variation of a sedan, and of course all the other styles that we're going to talk about will be variations. Most of them will be variations of a sedan or a saloon. So the major feature here is that we have replaced here the boot, we have replaced with a hatch door. So you can see these are both Honda vehicles, but one is a hatchback and the other one is a sedan. Sometimes hatchback might look like a station wagon, but you'll note here that this area between the rear seats and the small luggage area behind the hatch door, we just stooped or sloped this area so that it looks like it's elongated. And actually the sides might be around this area. So this is not a boot, but we will see later what we mean. Sometimes a hatchback will almost look like a station wagon, but it is not. Right? Just this small area extended a little bit. There's no boot here. That's a Hyundai hatchback, Toyota Corolla hatchback, and now we talk about a station wagon. So a station wagon will be called a station wagon in the USA, but an estate in Europe or in UK. The one thing you'll note about this hatchback here is this area at the back here, at the rear. And you note that we have extended the height of the boot, or extended the boot area upward to the level of the passenger roof, right? Or we have extended the passenger roof here, or the rearward to the head of the boot, and we have created a single room between the passenger seats and the luggage compartment, and we have a single room just extended all the way to the boot area, and that one becomes now a station wagon. And the reason why we extend that way is that we have a bigger luggage area, and of course sometimes even the rear rows you still have the same configuration as we said. Most of these vehicles, they are variations, or these styles are variations of a saloon. So yeah, we just extended the passenger roof all the way to the rear one to the boot, and you have a station wagon, and this is to create room for luggage. Sometimes we even collapse the rear seats here so that we increase this room, luggage room. All right. You still have two doors on both sides, and you have a bonnet where you have the engine compartment. So these are the features. So as we noted, it's also known as an estate in the UK, and the roof is extended rearward over the shared passenger cargo volume with access to the back via a third or fifth door, which we call the lift gate or tailgate. And the reason why we say third, sometimes you can have just 2 doors on both sides, all right? Okay, so that one is a station wagon that is meant only for luggage, no rear passenger seats. And then it can be a fifth door if you have 2 rows of seats, and then you have the cargo area. But both of them, they are one volume. So that back door, we can call it a lift gate or a tailgate, which replaces the trunk lid or the boot lid. The passenger compartment roof extended rearward over the boot area such that the passenger and the luggage room are one with a fifth back door, which is referred to as a tailgate, unlike a sedan's trunk or boot lid. So sometimes the rear row of seats are collapsed to increase the cargo space. It has an enclosed passenger compartment where the front row and rear row of seats are found, just like in a saloon. And there's no partition between the driver and the rear row of seats, and usually has 2 doors on each side. But sometimes might have 2 doors on each side. Yeah. So when we look at a station wagon, sometimes we can call it a space wagon because the purpose of the station wagon is to increase the space for luggage. So this area here, we are supposed to have the boot. We extended all the way. This roof, you can see, is extended, not stooped here to create a door like in hatchback, but extended all the way back rearward so that we have a big area for luggage. And we call it a station wagon, a wagon, an estate, even sometimes a space wagon. So that you can see all the way, extended all the way rearward. And you can see this one is not stooped like here to eliminate this boot area and luggage area and have a hatch door, but extended all the way back here. The roof is extended all the way back here. So this one is a station wagon, an estate, a wagon, right? And this is a model of old models of station wagon used to look like that. Yeah, you can see that one. No? We have seen these on the road. And that one, you can see, that one is a wing load, a Nissan wing load. Extended all the way, you can see the roof here is extended all the way back to the boot area. And you have 2 doors on both sides. You have the engine being located in the bonnet. Next, we talk about coupe. And one thing you note about a coupe, just looking at that, is that you will most likely have 1 door on both sides. There is no room here. You just have a luggage compartment here, and has only 2 seats. A coupe is a luxury vehicle. Of course, they are very expensive, luxury for the rich, and you only have 2 doors. There's no room for another person. Sometimes you can have a rambo seat at the back here, but mostly it's just a cargo area, small cargo area. Very nice. And sometimes make very, very amazing is that some of these engines are so powerful, can put them on a lorry, right? You can actually drive a lorry, the power, and that's a small vehicle. It's wonderful, wonderful. So the features of a coupe is that 1, it differs from the saloon car in that it has 2 doors, 2 front seats, and a rigid roof, right? 2 doors, 2 front seats, and a rigid roof. Sometimes you have what we call a 2+2. You'll have 2 small rear seats, or sometimes a single rambo seat at the back. It's sporty. It has a sloping roof line, and generally has smaller dimensions than a sedan. Has smaller dimensions than a saloon. So that's generally the shape will look like that. And sometimes we even call them supercars, right? You can name in the comment section there how many the types or the models you know. Like I know Mercedes-Benz McLaren, it's a supercar, it's a coupe, right? So next time maybe I will just have to I'll make uh, an extension, a video for the best way to know some of these vehicles is to play games like most wanted. Okay, Need for Speed, Most Wanted. You play such games. When you're choosing these vehicles, you'll be noting all those differences, right? And maybe you should, as a vehicle enthusiast, whenever you're on the road, don't fear looking around, gazing at the vehicles, and try to identify the type, right? Yeah. Old models of a coupe look like that. New models look like that. Not two doors on each side. One door on each side. Look at that. Very nice vehicle. A supercar with just one door on both sides. On one side, on both sides. One door on both sides. Two seats, two doors, two seats. Okay. Small luggage compartment or a wrapper seat at the back, and of course the bonnet area will have the engine compartment. Sometimes these supercars they will have a small luggage area at the bonnet, and here at the back from the passenger seats, from the seats all the way back, the engine is located in there between the two rear wheels. Yeah, very funny and very amazing vehicles. That is a Porsche 911. Look at that vehicle, very nice. That's a coupe, a Porsche coupe. That one is a BMW Z4. Look at the two doors on both sides. Very nice design. A large, almost half of the vehicle, the bonnet or the engine compartment, and the back we have a small luggage area. That's a Fiat Coupe. A Fiat Coupe. Similar. What you note about these coupes is that they just look like a saloon, but one major feature is that they have smaller dimensions than a saloon. Two doors on both sides, two seats, bonnet, and a very small luggage area. Not compartment, but luggage area. Next is the convertible. In the convertible, will either be a cabriolet or a roadster. And what will you look for when you want to identify whether a vehicle is a convertible? So they usually have two doors and two seats, but sometimes two extra seats are included. Right? So just like a coupe, you'll have two doors, two seats. But the most identifying factor is that it has a soft folding roof and wind-up windows such that the driver and passenger compartment can either be open or enclosed. So when you just want to cruise down the coast and you just unfold the roof, you fold the roof, and the vehicle is open and the breeze is sweeping all over your face, and of course if you have a girlfriend with a long hair and the wind is blowing all over. Okay, that's a joke. But the roof can fold so that the compartment is either open or enclosed. So a cabriolet will have a soft top with roll-up windows with 4 seats, right? 4 seats. But a roadster has 2 door, 2 seats, a folding or retractable roof, and a luggage compartment or a rambo seat instead of the luggage area, and has an open, it's what we call an open air coupe. All right, a cabriolet is an open air saloon. A roadster is an open air coupe. All right. So that one is a roadster. Roadster, convertible. And that one is a Cabriolet, convertible, Cabriolet. So sometimes people in the USA will not know what Cabriolet is. Normally, the Cabriolet is used in Europe, right? So they will just call it a convertible. Note that a Roadster and a Cabriolet are both convertibles, right? Okay. And that's an old model of a convertible. A Mercedes 220D Cabriolet. It's a Mercedes 220D Cabriolet. Look at that, 2 seats at the back, 2 small seats at the back. So it has 4 seats, 2 doors, 2 seats. By 2 doors, I mean 1 door on both sides. And of course, at the front, we have the bonnet where the engine is located. That's a Mercedes AMG SL Roadster. Note the 2 seats, 2 doors only, and of course, note the 2 doors. Note the 2 doors, the 2 seats, and the folding roof. That's a Mercedes C220D Cabriolet. All right, I think we talked about that. That's a Mercedes-Benz SL Class Roadster. Look at that, and has one very small cargo area of rubber seats, but that's, we call it a Roadster. It's an open air coupe, smaller dimensions like a coupe, right? Even though it looks like it has 4 seats, they're just small included there, but it's much smaller. Dimensions are so small, looks like a coupe. So it's an open air coupe. We call it a Roadster convertible, right? That's a BMW Roadster. Now next we talk about SUV versus the CUV. SUV means sport utility vehicle, and CUV means crossover utility vehicle, or simply crossovers. Yeah, sport utility vehicle, crossover utility vehicle. And how do you identify a sport utility vehicle? A sport utility vehicle will have a truck-like body on frame structure, or what we normally call a conventional chassis, or a separate chassis, right? So you have a body on frame. So you have like the body and the frame, or the chassis, are separate. They are usually known for toughness and durability. They last long. They have features for even out of the road features, right? So 4-door models with a 2-bow exterior design, 2-box, not 2-bow. So there are 4-door models with a 2-box design, and the 2-box exterior design means we have the bonnet, or the engine compartment, and the passenger compartment only. All right. They have a standard rear wheel drive with optional 4-wheel drive to increase traction on wet roads. All right. Off-road capabilities will be enabled by the 4-wheel drive option. They are not known for fuel economy. They are just, of course, call them fuel guzzlers, and they are designed with their main focus on luxury. So they are designed with the main focus on luxury. What about crossover utility vehicles? Well, you identify them with one thing. They have improved fuel economy. And why is that? Because they are just tall wagons with great exterior design, right? And why is that also? Because they have a unibody, or unitary, or integrated frame, right? The body and the chassis are one. Unitary, integrated, unibody frame. They have a lower ride height. Because of that, they have a lower ride height for stability and maneuverability. alright? Because the center of gravity is much lower because we don't have the separate chassis. So you can locate the vehicle much lower, and this enables for greater handling and smoother ride than SUVs. They have what we call a front drive standard, right? But with an option for all-wheel drive. So the SUV had four-wheel drive, but this one we have all-wheel drive capability. Note that one thing, and most likely, the four-wheel drive in the SUV is possible because we have a separate chassis and you can locate the propeller shaft, alright? But this one is a unitary. You don't have the room for that shaft. So we'll have what we call an all-wheel drive, and most probably I think that one will be something to do with hybrid, right? But we'll talk about four-wheel drive and all-wheel drive in another video. So the all-wheel drive is enabled to increase traction as also to prevent slippage on wet roads. They have high aerodynamic capabilities since they are low. And what does that mean? Since they are low and the aerodynamic shape is shaped such that they have an reverse aeroplane effect, right? Instead of aerodynamic capabilities to fly upwards, they fly downwards, so that when they fly downwards, they press on the road, and this increases traction, right? So higher speed and maneuverability and handling, right? So as we said, we compare the four-wheel drive and the all-wheel drive in another video, right? And of course other types of drives. And then we have Toyota. This one is a Toyota SUV. Note it's very high, really large wheels, almost like a lorry or a truck. One thing you know, they have separate chassis. This one is a Toyota RAV4 GX SUV, a Land Rover SUV. One of my favorites is the Land Rover SUV. I hope one day I can be able to own one of these. Well, yeah, anything is possible in Kenya these days, you know. Dreams can be realized. Okay. This is the Porsche E-Cross CUV. Note the weight is low, okay, because the body and the chassis are one. It's unitary. Alright. Just another CUV there. One major feature is low. Of course, it's a two-box configuration. We have the passenger compartment and the engine compartment at the front, at the bonnet. That's when it's a red Toyota RAV4 CUV. A red Toyota RAV4 CUV. A Mitsubishi Outlander CUV. Mitsubishi Outlander. And of course, generally when you look at these two vehicles, CUV and SUV, the CUV sometimes you'd have smaller one. They're smaller than SUV.